One of the most important pieces of the work that I do is helping to empower women. Now, there is strength in both solitude and in partnership. And one of the things that I speak with women all over the world about constantly is how to find a soulmate or how to find love. And one of the worries that comes up for many women is losing themselves in that love or losing their own strength when they enter into a partnership. So there is strength in both. And one of the ways that we make sure that we are strong, whether we are single or partnered, is by really embodying and embracing our own femininity. One of the reasons why I wrote this book, The Way of the Satisfied Woman, was to help show women just like you and me the power of femininity. It's not necessarily something that's imbued into the narrative of our everyday culture. So one of the first things we have to do as a part of our path to finding a soulmate is owning our power as feminine women. Because not only is that going to give us the kind of foundation that we need to stand on to find a good partnership, but it's going to allow us to withstand being single until that time. When we as women embrace our femininity, we basically reject some of the patriarchal narratives that have kept us down and kept us small. Now, in that rejection, I understand there can be a lot of fear. When we say to ourselves and others that actually having emotional depth and emotional connection is powerful and it's a part of who I am, we often become confronted by those around us who are not ready for that kind of emotional depth or who are inconvenienced by our emotions. The more we own our emotional depth, the more we stand in our power. The same is true for our intuition. We have a lot of cultural narrative around how intuition is scary, dangerous. This is why witches were burned at the stake, was because they had powerful intuition and it was too confronting for the patriarchal world around them, and so they had to be executed. So tapping into your intuition, there's a long history of fear for women around bringing forth our intuition. But it is through our intuition that we find our own satisfied pathway forward. And in fact, it can be no other way. Growing up in this culture, we get a lot of information about how intuition should be dismissed in favor of logical thinking. Because, of course, logic and reason are some of the primary masculine qualities, and so much of masculine qualities is prized and valued much more highly than anything about femininity. But what I need you to do, dear sister, and trust me, I'm talking to myself as well, is to prize, uphold, and value your own intuitive knowing and your own emotional depth. When we own it fully, when we step into our power as feminine women who are both emotional and intuitive, then things start to look differently in our world around us. Those who can hold that power, who can hold space for our emotions and our intuition, they stay. And for those who are too confronted by it, they leave. Or they put up a big fuss and a big fight. They make our lives very uncomfortable, and we push the eject button and we vote them off our island. I've always been a big fan of heavily curating your life. And so it's one of the things I write about in my book, and it's one of the things I will invite you to do throughout this process, is start to pay attention every single day. Who affirms you as a feminine woman and who does not? Or what situations, places, or spaces affirm you as a feminine woman, or what does not? When you are confronted with common patriarchal put-downs, like people in your world, even those that you love, calling you crazy, asking, oh, are you on your period this week? Saying that you're bossy for standing up to yourself, saying you're bitchy for having too many ideas, saying that you're high maintenance for wanting to present yourself well and take care of yourself. When you really center your femininity, you start to either not listen to those things or find ways to just remove them from your life. This is one of the core ways that we create a life for ourselves as feminine women that is fully accepting of who we are, but it starts with us accepting ourselves as who we are. So one of the values of patriarchal culture that is really hurting our ability as feminine women to find partnership is this strong centering of individuality and a DIY culture. Do it yourself. Now, I absolutely agree that as women, we need to be able to do everything and handle everything in our lives. That creates a sense of power and security that's fantastic. But I disagree that we need to do it 100% of the time, not only for ourselves, but for everyone else around us. That's the trap women often fall into, that not only do we have to take care of ourselves and muscle our way through life, but we need to be able to give ourselves away constantly to the demands of everyone else. A powerful tool for the feminine, empowered woman is the word no. So one way that you find the space to be yourself and the space to invite the right partner in is by starting with the word no. You find what you need to cut out, what you need to say no to, so that you have the space for yourself to be in femininity and for the partner that you would like to invite in. And it might be no to every single rideshare opportunity to drive your kids to whatever practice that they have. Maybe it's no to spending extra time with family or friends on a weekend so that you can have a little time to yourself. There's power for the feminine woman in independence, yes, but there is even greater power in interdependence. When we are so independent that we wall ourselves off, that we brace ourselves for the world, that we don the mask of masculinity too often, we are doing not only ourselves a disservice, but we are doing a disservice to the world because they are not getting the best of us. We want to be interdependent with those who value who we are. We want to be interdependent with those who complement our greatest feminine strengths. So whether it's an intimate relationship with a worthy masculine partner, or whether it's in relationship to various family members, friends, colleagues, finding those spaces, places, people, communities where we can thrive as a feminine woman is essential. It gives us a level of comfort and safety in our own femininity that allows us to relax a little bit. And in the quiet moments where we are by ourselves, nourishing ourselves with the things that tap us into femininity, we become stronger for this road that we need to walk toward finding a soulmate. Because a healthy masculine counterpart will complement our feminine essence. A healthy masculine counterpart will allow us to flourish even outside of our sacred bath time and self-care routine. A healthy masculine partner will protect us from any assault, psychological, emotional, physical, on our femininity. A healthy masculine partner actually allows us to be even more ourselves. Now, I know that even for me saying that, I grew up with a narrative of I don't need a man. I had a very independent mother. She was a single mother for most of my childhood, and she really buckled in and braced herself for the world as she very bravely, very, very bravely raised me in that household. Now, she made it, we all made it, and I definitely was raised with the values of I don't need a man, I can do everything by myself, I should do everything myself. But now, after doing all this research and this work and talking to women and hearing how bereft they are of support for their feminine essence, I realize, and I imagine you have come to realize too, which is why you're here, that it's actually in disservice to us all that individuality. So let's soften around that idea, the I don't need a man. There might be times in your life, yes, where you decide that regrouping and reconnecting with yourself and being alone and not in partnership for a period of time is absolutely worthy and of great benefit to you. But don't let it last too long. And never wall yourself off or close yourself off from the opportunity of finding the right soulmate for you, because there is great freedom in the right partnership between masculine and feminine. It actually provides the freedom for us each to be most fully who we are. What's unfortunate for us as feminine women in this day and age is that because we live in a patriarchal culture, we are so dominated with messages that the masculine traits that we have, we all have them, are more valuable than our feminine traits. And so we fall into the trap of what I call donning the mask of masculinity. We armor up, we man up for the world, we wear the pants. And because that is often the way that we can safely navigate our day-to-day world, we sometimes get stuck in it. And it gives the wrong impression to ourselves and to those that we seek to attract. Because the healthy masculine partner that we are looking for is not looking for another healthy masculine partner. The healthy masculine partner that we desire is looking for the receptive, relaxed feminine. And we can be that with empowering who we are already, with empowering our own femininity, while digging into what makes us a feminine woman and bringing that forth by being feminine in our day-to-day life. Then not only are we able to relax, release, reconnect with ourselves, but it allows us to attract the right kind of partner to help us become even more of ourselves. Solitude can allow for self-discovery, certainly. I mean, for those of us who experience periods of aloneness, chosen or not chosen, we have an opportunity to go inward and do the work of reclaiming our femininity on our own. And that's going to create the foundation for who we can be when we have the right masculine partner. Partnership creates a mirror for both parties, and it allows healing on an even greater level than if we were to try to do it on our own. There's only so far we can take ourselves on this journey, which is why we as humans are encoded in our psychology, in our DNA, to find a soulmate. It is actually written in our biology that partnership is how we not only survive, but thrive. So start by claiming your femininity. Start by finding the places and spaces every single day that you can downshift into your femininity. It might be committing to that self-care routine every night or once a week. It might be firing your friends, family, coworkers, colleagues, places, spaces that don't help you affirm your femininity. It might be reclaiming those hidden parts of you that have been lost because you've been subject to the patriarchal narrative and the culture just like everybody else. And it might be start listening to your intuition. The two greatest qualities of femininity are intuition and emotion. And when you just start to tap into that, when you start to listen to that still small voice inside, I promise it will guide you in the right direction, and it will lead you to the person that you are looking for.